Hello guys, and welcome back to Diablo 3 on Inferno difficulty. We finished Act 1 last time, so now we talk to the caravan leader to carry us to Act 2. And here we are in the hidden camp. That was quick. Usually there would be a cutscene, but the cutscene basically says Turael came from the heavens, he stopped being an angel because the angels aren't supposed to interfere, so he came down to help humanity and warn them of the impeding attack from Belial and Asmodan. Really, that's all that happened. And he kind of had a bit of a fight with the head archangel guy, who we're gonna meet again in Act 4.
Here we are. Chaldean.
He wouldn't now that it is under the...
We need to split up. You two search...
Okay, so these two go off and hunt Belial, whereas we are going after Magda, the one who killed Cain and works for Belial, so I guess we have reason enough.
God, where did these... I am not... It seems... She's heading...
And that woman said that she's heading to somewhere in the desert, so we're not gonna go there.
You will need to follow the long road over the canyon bridge and through the Qasim outpost.
Let us go. I know these deserts well.
And then we have the Enchantress. She's currently already following me, but this is the Enchantress that helps with the main quest.
Take heed, traveler. They're welcome. Then you must...
Which is kind of,
There are illusions out there. Mirages to some. But I can see them for what they are. The Coven's foul magic.
it's a
They
bit
will lead you to your death.
strange that
I've dealt with these cultists before. Their traps are easily spotted. But my thanks for the warning.
She seems very familiar.
okay, so basically these followers, the warrior, the scoundrel, and now the Enchantress, you meet them in the main quest and they kind of help you. So, like, the scoundrel would open the gates for you, and the warrior would clear the path in the cathedral, and now she helps find these illusions. So what it boils down to is you need them for the main quest, but then if you play on a higher difficulty than normal, you already have one of the followers. So you kind of have two now, so the Enchantress I got, the one that's better equipped, and the other one. Which... well, I would have preferred if they'd made it differently, so that you would actually have to use the correct follower to actually do this quest.
Away with you!
And I'm getting very strange lag here, for no apparent reason. By the way, you should avoid these random green flies, which the big wasps spit out. Because they deal very high damage. Show you quickly. See, that was quite painful. Aside from that, though, they're not that dangerous.
Stay back! They're in the rocks!
Yeah. And these, I couldn't read their name because they were dead too quickly, but they're kind of like a local tribe of something or other. What are they called? Lakuni. So again,
I've been healed.
there's two types. There's the female ones, which are very swift and can, well, cause trouble that way. And there's the male ones, which they're a lot stronger and larger and heavier.
Be careful. They are very near to us.
Are you certain? The road seems impassable.
You should never have come. Demons will feast on your bones.
And so they both have kind of their difficulty. Because the male ones are very strong and take a lot of punishment, whereas the female ones, they're very quick, so they're not as easy to avoid.
How did you know about the ambush?
I'm
no stranger.
Well,
So she's the Enchantress, she
I am
can
also
tell
looking for
illusions and
someone.
stuff like that.
but here, let me clear the way for you. You must be one of my sisters. How wonderful it is to see you again.
Captain, from behind!
You see, I just see movement and I hit them. Despite the fact that those weren't enemies.
If not for you,
Should I expect more?
even worse.
Let us head north to the Howling Plateau. The cultist magic seems to be emanating from there.
It seems a bit, I don't know, more laggy than usual today. But this is not all computer lags. Part of it is caused by server synchronization, and the game kind of freezes up when it does that for some reason.
There is another illusion here. The cultists tried to hide their footsteps, but their spells are weak and easily countered. If
so
we
yeah,
follow these prints, we can find their lairs and halt the rituals.
in a way
that's
that's
any other traces of their magic.
that's kind of what you need her, the enchantress, for the quest. She finds the footprints, and I guess that makes it easier to find the cultists, even though technically if you search the entire map you would probably find the entrance to their cave anyway. Or their caves, their holes, their lairs, whatever you want to call them. So my Hydra kind of deals very well with these enemies now. I think my improved equipment actually helps a fair bit. Even on this difficulty, the slight improvement which I made during Act 3 seems to have at least made some impact. This is just a random dungeon, but basically if you enter a random dungeon that says level 1 on the entrance, most often there's going to be a level 2, and these dungeons usually include a few champion or boss groups, and they also very commonly, or well actually I believe almost always, they have a resplendent chest on the second level, kind of as a reward. And of course resplendent chests are a good source of items. And they give you a Nephilim stack. So if you're level 60, that's obviously something that will interest you. Because even if you're not actively hunting or farming items, Nephilim stacks are definitely something you'll want. Be it just for the experience and the gold find stuff, it's always a good thing to have. There's nothing bad about it, basically. So, yeah. Again, this can be fairly dangerous to explore these because occasionally there will be elite groups very close to the entrance, giving you very little space. And one thing you should watch out for in these particular caves in this act, I'll show you when I get to it. We've already passed some of them, but I just want to reiterate. What we're looking for is these maggot piles. These larva sacs, I believe. If you stand close to them, they will deal massive amounts of poison damage, so... Okay. These enemies are apparently shielding and they have knockback, which is not good. Shielding just means they can make themselves immune to damage for a short time, which is tedious, but, well, not that bad. Knockback can be much more annoying, actually. Because while you're flying and then getting back up, well, you can't do much. And so that it might cost you dearly, let's just put it like that. And it seems like the NPCs are being very loud again, I don't know. I've turned the volume down a bit more, so I'm assuming it's gonna be fine. And these standard enemies still don't pose much of a problem, but as you saw, the bats actually they survived longer than the special mobs did in Act 1, sorry. Now we had our one group, and there's the path down, so I guess I'll keep exploring a bit more. Because especially on level 1 there can be 2 of these special groups. And of course, if possible, I want to have as many stacks of Valor as well, as I can to open the chest on level 2. For the increased magic find. Okay, that worm apparently swallowed me up and spat me out again. The worms are technically not difficult to deal with because you kind of see where they're coming from before they fully erupt, so you can get some distance between them and you and then start whacking them. Of course, this pretty much all I'm saying, or a lot of what I'm saying, applies only to a magician, Or maybe... I guess it's gonna be similar on a... what they call themselves, Demon Hunter and... thingy. Whatever the last class is. Anything that fights ranged, basically. Witch Doctor. I think they can fight ranged as well. Yeah. So basically, if you're fighting ranged, you can get some distance to avoid the damage, because the worms can't really get to you if you're a bit away from them. And in these caves, you should be a bit careful about going too far, because you have lots of pop-ups coming from the ground. And then there's these slime spewers, which also poison you. So again, something you might want to avoid. But if you fight at them from a distance, again, you can find spots where they can't hit you. So technically they're not that difficult. And I'm not certain I'm going to find another champion group in here.
Your grave awaits!
It still feels like she's shouting very loudly in my ear. But it seems to have been important to the developers somehow. I don't know. Again, I could turn it down lower, but meh. Okay, apparently Hydra doesn't attack the slime spewing thing by itself, which is a bit of a shame. And I seem to have hit the end of this particular map. Yeah, so there was no more, or apparently there were no more champion groups in here.
You seem distant at times.
It is not my intention. There is nowhere I would rather be.
Truly?
Truly. Everything depends on this. On you.
Well, too bad. So now we're gonna have to go to the second level. On these dungeons, on the second level, there's also somewhere some sort of pillar, obelisk, whatever you want to refer to it as, which gets you back out to the exit. So that's a quick way out, basically. Yep, this is the correct corner. Now I won't do all the random dungeons, but
Away with you!
I wanted to do this one mostly to get some stacks up, basically. Probably wouldn't have been necessary, but sometimes if you take the fast route through the maps, you can sometimes miss a fair number of the champion groups. And that can obviously be fairly tedious. And back there we have a boss. What's he got? Arcane Enchanted, Molten, Missile Dampening. This basically means that he's decreasing damage from projectiles. I'm not sure if this disintegration ray counts as missile. I don't think so. And I don't think it matters that much. So 2 stacks now, and I'll get a third from opening this chest. And it seems these Tomes of Secret are not that rare. Well, I guess if you don't play on Inferno, you're never gonna find them, but you are now. I'm not certain if you were before, but you can now actually use lower tier of these training things to basically make the higher one. So you can use pages of blacksmithing to make the book of blacksmithing, and you can use the book of blacksmithing to make tomes of secrets, assuming your guy is trained high enough. Well, dexterity is kind of nice, but apart from that, it's kind of pointless to me. Dexterity would be nice for a dexterity user, is what I'm trying to say. That's some fairly high vitality there, but again, useless. And a belt, which has, well, high armor, but apart from that, again, very much meh. So now let's try and find the fast way out of here, which is there, and I think that's about the end. Yeah. Sometimes the second level is a lot larger, but this time really all we had was the boss and the chest. But again, that was the wrong button, and that was 3 stacks of valor, which is nice.
More hidden footprints.
I'm just going to follow these footprints now to make the quest go a little faster. And either it will take us past certain enemies or it won't. There's an empowered shrine. And these are kind of new. Well, I didn't see them the last time I played before. So what they do is they reduce my cooldowns, I don't know by how much, and they increase my regeneration of arcane power in my case. Whatever the main resource of your class is.
More hidden footprints. This is one of the cultist lairs. They are casting parts.
And I believe it's similarly going to increase the fury and the spirit gain for monks and barbarians, I think. But I don't know what the exact effect on those classes is.
Another ritual at a cellar to the east of here.
I guess there's the option of... Oh look, Missive to Magda.
This hero means to attack you in Alcarnus. If I were you, I would set a trap at the Cassini outpost. But I am not you. For all I know, you wish to fail me again.
Look, more hidden footprints.
Okay, I actually found a diary, which I apparently never read before. Yeah. So here's more hidden footprints, which we can follow to the other outpost. Well, the other place where they're maintaining a certain ritual. Which is apparently what keeps us from crossing a certain bridge. Because they make the thing invisible. Okay, but I think we may get an event in here.
Please help me.
Wait, something is wrong here.
An illusion.
Coven's illusions are
Yeah.
everywhere.
It's not something that the game specifies as an event, but it is an event nonetheless.
Do you see that enemy over there? Let us cleanse it from this land.
Okay, a Painmonger, what do they have? Vampiric, Mortar, Arcane Enchanted, and Plagued. So Vampiric means I think they heal themselves by... when they hit you. Plagued means they leave behind these pools. And, well, you've seen the rest, so...
I've been healed.
Yeah, the advantage or the good thing about this particular event is it'll give you a stack of valor just from the fact that you fight a champion or an elite or a boss group. I should really be more...
Look, more hidden footprints.
well, I guess be more thorough in maintaining the same terminology at least all the time. Even if it's not the correct one. But somehow... I keep changing my mind what I want to call them. Now to me, champion and elite kind of sounds the best, but... and as you can see now, the frame rate has pretty much recovered. Now if there's a lot of effects on the screen, it just sort of goes down a bit again, which is, I guess, understandable. Oh look, another elite group. What do we have here? Jailer. Molten, Arcane Enchanted, and Health Link. Now Jailer means, as you can see, they can imprison me and I can't move. I don't know what the other thing, the health link does. I've got a feeling either they can heal themselves, or if one of them dies, the other gets get healed, something along those lines.
Look,
I really
more
don't know
hidden
what
footprints.
exactly it does. Might even be that if you damage one of them, they're all damaged, so they kind of share a common health pool. I don't know. But it doesn't seem to be a very, very dangerous, I guess, attribute. So what do we get here? Oh, a... Go away, guys. A hidden enemy force.
Look, more hidden footprints.
Trying to ambush us, eh? Not quite gonna work out.
This is one of the cultist lairs. They are casting part of the illusion inside.
So we need to clear out both of these layers to be able to get over that particular bridge.
There, that ought to dispel the Coven's magic. Let us go to the bridge.
And here they did something to the corpse of something, which I'm not certain. Okay. Now, I think the achievement I got meant that I've now actually read all the particular bits of writing in Act 2, but I can't be certain of that. Might be I'm still missing some, might be I'm not.
Tell me, what shall you do when Magda is dead?
The Lords of Hell, Belial and Asmodan, are plotting an invasion. I will cause them to suffer greatly.
How curious. You must be the one I was meant to find here.
Okay, so this two-handed thing has quite a high DPS, I guess. Well, it's over 1,000, which for me means quite high, but pointless for me, and it doesn't seem that good. These gloves, again, high dexterity would be interesting for a monk player, I believe, but definitely not for me. One-handed sword, again, very high dexterity. I think I might actually keep this dexterity and vitality, it doesn't seem that bad. And a random bow, which... I always feel that if an item mixes too many attributes, that it's not going to be very valuable, such as if it mixes strength and dexterity. These are used by different classes, so... And here it appears we have Nightmarish, Electrified, Plagued... And I'm kiting completely the wrong way.
I am unstoppable.
But actually the frames were maintaining very well throughout that particular battle. Still in the high 20s. Which is probably good.
Can't carry more. Do you remember a town named Alcanus?
It was not built in my age, but I have seen it in my recent travels, though I wish I had not.
Let's see what she currently has. Okay, more of a vitality thing. This one will decrease her health by a lot.
Yes.
By a fair bit, but it'll also increase her damage. Let me just see, damage 3,300.
A lovely piece.
Okay. I prefer the extra health, I think. It's well over 10,000 health, which I'm losing if I unequip this, and I only gain about 800 damage, so... Not really worth it in my mind, actually. What I'll do is I'll drop this random thing. Take this. Quickly identify it. Again, mediocre at best. And now I'm going to town to sell all this stuff. Well, I'm gonna put the... what was it? That high dexterity sword. I'm gonna put that away in case I ever play a monk. Since this is softcore, I can always stash away stuff for other characters to use. The rest, I remember correctly, if I remember correctly, the rest was not worth keeping. I'll keep the focus in case I feel I want the damage. And then here's a merchant.
Hey lady, I can't believe what people throw away. I want to buy some of it.
So these plants are very expensive, which means I'm probably not going to buy them anytime soon. No, I now technically have the money. Seems to me these would allow me to make a level 63 chest armor. And I would again be able to choose one of the attributes. But I've already got a fairly good bit of chest armor. It's not perfect, but it's quite good, so... What I will buy though is the random bell. Well, it's not random, it's needed for the Staff of Herding. Which I now have the recipe for. It dropped to me in the... what's his face? In the boss fight against Tyrell's old commander. So I have the Staff of Herding recipe. I only need the Gibbering Gemstone and the Liquid Rainbow, and they're both difficult to get because they're luck-based. And then I've also got the recipe for the Hellish and the Infernal versions of them. What I don't have is the Nightmarish version, so I still need to switch back to Nightmare to buy that. Even though they're very cheap, so not much of a problem. And now, having my 5 stacks up, already... Well, I've had them up for quite a while now, in fact. I can make my way across this bridge. Now, if you didn't defeat the cultists yet in both of their lairs, this particular bridge, you couldn't cross it.
I think it is time for you to know my true tale.
Okay.
I am not from Chaldea.
So she was trained by a guy called the Prophet very long ago, and he told her and her sisters to wait for me.
You will find it to the north, though it is still some distance away.
And now, some distance to the north, as you heard, we're gonna find the Kazim outpost. Now, what I dislike about these, I don't know, these hidden monsters there, you can see them in advance because they they stick their back plates above the sand, but you can't actually kill them in advance. You can't deal damage to them until they've come really close and gotten up. So, I don't know. The only advantage that seeing them gives you is that you're not surprised by them. And I would prefer it if you could actually, I don't know, do something to either avoid them or deal damage to them more quickly. So I think over there we have a boss group. What do we have? Desecrator, Vortex, Electric, and... tell me? Vampiric. So the knockback is tedious, and Vortex means they can pull you towards them, which is actually a fairly dangerous attribute, especially combined with certain others. Now it's not that bad with the Desecrator, because they can only desecrate one spot, and it's usually the spot you stand on. So basically, when they pull you towards them and they desecrate the ground below you, you still have enough time to get away. In essence, it's much worse if they're Arcane Enchanted and Jailer as well.
The road is blocked and must go through Kazim Outpost to the west.
If they have like Arcane Enchanted and the Jailer attribute as well, which I'm not certain if that combo can even exist anymore, but they might then pull you towards them, freeze you so you can't move, and then put that Arcane Enchanted swirling blade thing right on top of you, and that would deal a massive amount of damage in a very short amount of time. So the helmet is again junk. And this fist weapon is also not very good. Yeah. I seem to recall that for a monk weapon to be very worthwhile, it would have to have attack speed on it. I remember when they nerfed attack speed. Okay, a deserted cellar. Guess we can go in there. Yeah, I remember when they nerfed the attack speed.
Help me! I don't want to die!
Monk players were particularly annoyed by that because I know a lot of them didn't play very tanky builds. Instead, they played very fast attacking builds that maintain their health by doing vampiric weapon kind of stuff. And that was obviously nerfed by the attack speed nerf, and I think they were fairly annoyed by that. So again, monk weapons, I believe they're the most valuable if they have attack speed on them as well. And these things here, they're easy to avoid because they only fly in a straight line. They have no homing properties to them, even though they look like they're living insects. They fly in a straight line, so easy enough to avoid. And now we need to find that particular Kazim outpost, because it leads us to Arcanus. But we already heard from that one diary. Chamber of the Lost Idol. I'll check that out, I've not seen that before.
I've spent months searching these deserts for the Rignar idol. It is here, in these ruins. I know it. I've survived starvation, dehydration. You look like you could help me find...
Your sad tale has touched...
So there's an idol somewhere in here, and we're meant to help him find it.
Kill them. Kill them all.
So we have a Jailer, a Waller, Arcane Enchanted, and Shielding. Now Jailer and Arcane Enchanted, as I said, that can be a very dangerous combo. And Shielding is just plain tedious. But yeah. If you fight a group like this, you should definitely try to keep mobile and stay away as much as possible from the Arcane Enchanted stuff. Because if they jail you, if you're too close to that, it can really hurt a lot. That's what I'm doing, so stop pushing me around. Now I'm fairly certain it's not going to be quite that simple. Either he's just trying to lure me into a trap, or he's going to betray me as soon as he's got that idol. It would seem to be... That seems to be the case very often in this game. That very few of the NPCs, they're actually trustworthy.
If I only had half the power you do.
You would be half as strong as I am. I guess I'll see if I can finish this particular dungeon this episode.
Nothing will kill them.
In these dungeons, you're gonna find certain enemies. They're called guardians. They're called some kind of guardian, like lightning guardian, shock guardian. I don't know what the exact names are. There's different ones, but okay, what do we have here? Reflect damage. Reflect damage just means I'm lagging. I'm gonna die, fairly certain. Okay, I'm still alive for now. But basically, reflect damage means it doesn't count on the Hydra damage, which is nice enough. And it means occasionally you should just keep your distance, not go full DPS on them. And kind of preserve your health a little bit. So what we have? Molten, which is fine. Illusionist, which is fine. The reflect damage is just meh. Usually before you start wailing down on them, or before I start wailing on them, if they have reflect damage, I just...
Run under these halls, like veins beneath the skin. We must tread carefully.
Yeah. And I usually pop my diamond skin, and then it absorbs the reflected damage as well, so that'll allow me to just ignore the reflected damage. There's always the risk involved, of course, that if you use diamond skin for that offensive purpose, you're not going to have it available if you need it for defensive purposes. And these guardians here, this is the noxious kind, they can be fairly dangerous. Especially, I believe, the fire ones have been quite strong. Okay, but now let's check out the rare items. Okay, this again seems fairly pointless. As does this. I think a monk has no need for intelligence, even though it increases resistances, so that will work for any character, but it seems those effects are only there so that any character has some use out of all the attributes, but of course a monk is going to be most interested in dexterity, and a barbarian is going to be most interested in strength and that kind of stuff. And as you saw earlier, the occasional lag spikes, they still exist, and they can still be very dangerous.
The idol! We found it! It was all worth it. Everything!
Do not be hasty. Everything has a price.
Now that it is at hand, I find myself filled with trepidation. Would you take it for me?
You see, I sense a trap.
What was that?
Well, that was just a few Frost Guardians, that's not too bad. Oh. I just accidentally left. I don't feel like going back. There were no rare items there as far as I could tell, so... And I guess that that refreshed my Valor stacks as well, because it was considered an event. Okay, Kane's Lost Satchel. Even though I can't find books in these anymore, I can still find the gold. And here I believe we're approaching the outpost. Yep. The Kazim outpost. Spoiler alert, everyone out here is an enemy. So we're gonna have to ask this guy to let us through. He tells us to get through, we have to talk to a guy down here. And oh look, it's Magda.
Here you are. No! He would never betray me! Strike her down!
Belial
And
is the
these
Lord of
enemies
Lies, Magda.
are,
The truth is, you were dead the minute you killed Cain.
Not a moment too soon. They plan to sacrifice us to Belial. Iron Wolves, take back the town!
Yeah, these snake enemies are very tedious. Because they can turn themselves invisible, and the annoying thing is that, as far as I know, if they're invisible, you can't damage them. Even though you can kind of see where they are because they're not perfectly invisible, there's some like reflections in the air, which I guess you'll see them.
Has Magda reached Alcon?
Yes.
Then please.
If well, you're gonna see them at some point, but the particular point I'm trying to make is, even if you hit that speck of air where they are, you don't deal damage to them. And that I find really tedious. So the Hydra really doesn't take any prisoners with these guys. Especially the flying insects. They're fairly low on health because they're high damage enemies, and I guess it's kind of to counter their high damage that they don't have that high survivability. Which is probably very nice by the developers.
You dare attack me? Victory.
And it also means that the Hydra can, well, easily dispatch them. And now we need to find the road to Alcarnus, because that's apparently where Magda is. But actually I'm kind of well over my 30 minutes now, so I'll just make a cut here, and we'll see each other again in the next episode. Bye bye.